What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Terrible Tavi back at it again, bringing you my first in a hopefully long-running series here, Naughty in Nature. Now you may be sitting there thinking to yourself, what exactly is Naughty in Nature? What does that even mean? Well, I'll be taking a look at some Pokemon and seeing exactly if they are natty or not. First up on the chopping block, Machamp. Now, I'm going to be breaking down the finer details here. We're going to be looking back through Machamp's history, seeing exactly, what led Machamp to this thickness that you see in front of you today, this absolute unit of a Pokemon, and seeing where it came from and how exactly it got to be the gainz master itself. First up, we're going to take a look at little Machamp here. And let me just say, things are looking actually pretty good for Machamp at this point, because Machamp, dude was born for muscle building. I mean, just take a look at this thing. This thing is a genetic freak right here. It was born to build muscle, like straight out the egg, sipping on some chancy egg whites, you feel me? Down in some whey moo milk and whatnot. I mean, this thing is just insane. It was built for muscle building. Taking a look at some of the dex entries that we have over here, Machamp itself trains all day and is never satisfied, even after putting a long day of work and training. That's just insane, and I would say maybe our first red flag. But before we jump to any ridiculous conclusions here, I may say that's a red flag. Some people may say that's not a red flag. But let's dive a little bit deeper and see exactly what we can uncover about Machamp here. Next up in this yoked up evolutionary line, we got Machoke. Now, from the evolution of Machamp all the way to Machoke, we see some massive gains happening here. But honestly, with the mindset and the discipline that Machamp had at a young age to never give up on its dedication towards bodybuilding and learning all sorts of mixed martial arts, it's actually a very natural progression with the genetics that this Pokemon actually has to achieve a physique that looks like this. Now, I hear you guys now. You're shouting it from the mountaintops over there. I can hear it. Just let me take a little listen for you guys real quick.
This thing is naughty in nature. There's absolutely no way you could be this yoked out without using
I hear your concerns. I hear your concerns loud and clear. But don't worry, we're going to break it down a little bit more, and I'm going to tell you exactly why this is a natural progression here from Machamp. Now, I'm a very big proponent of innocent until proven guilty. So we're going to give Machoke a fair shake here, and let's take a look at some dex entries to see exactly how it would have achieved this physique from its little Machampness. Taking a look at some of Machoke's dex entries here, this thing even goes out of its way to take on extremely physically taxing jobs just to continue its muscle building journey. Obviously, we've already discussed the natural genetic ability that Machamp had from a very young age, and through years of optimizing its diet, there's no reason to assume otherwise that this progression right here couldn't happen as long as it got its daily intake of moo whey milk, multi-scale vitamins. You also tagged on the fact of its, mental discipline and its unquenchable, unnatural yearning for wanting to be physically active. I'm not smelling any shenanigans here yet. And I know for a fact how much I spend to keep up with my eating habits. I can only imagine how much Machoke eats at this point to maintain those gains. Side note, can we just take a moment to appreciate this absolutely legendary dex entry? A little bit of an homage to Rock Lee here.
When this Pokemon encounters an enemy that is truly mighty, this Pokemon removes its power save belt from its waist and unleashes its full power.
Just imagine being in the tuning exams and that thing is facing you down.
KO.
But please, Arceus, please, by everything that is good and holy in this world, do not let that power belt be the thing that keeps Machoke's pants up. Please, I don't need that image in my mind. Next up, the moment you guys have been waiting for, Machamp. I know, everyone, we're finally here. I'll stop making so many terrible Poke puns and we'll finally just get on with it. Is Machamp naughty in nature? Now, everybody, just keep in mind of all the facts that has led us to this point. Machamp, obviously a genetic freak. Machoke, years upon years of physical labor, taking on menial jobs just to continue its bodybuilding journey. Also, doing mixed martial arts on the side and training in the mountains just to make sure it can get them extra gain. Now, the journey's been very long for Machamp here. It has learned every single martial arts available for it to learn to get to this point and stage in its life. This Pokemon is so powerful, it has gotten itself to the point where it has trouble doing any sort of tasks that require finesse or dexterity to even accomplish. How much of an absolute unit do you have to be where you turn the doorknob and all of a sudden the house goes flying 20 miles in the other direction? I'm just saying, Machamp has put in the absolute finest to achieve this type of physique that it had. But at the end of the day, I feel like there's something sinister afoot here. You know that little tidbit that we talked about earlier? You know, the part where Machamp was never satisfied with a full day of training, even after it put all of its effort into everything that it does. And as a Machoke taking on menial tasks just to make sure it can maintain its bodybuilding journey. And the glaring, undeniable fact that this Pokemon right here literally only had 2 arms up until its final stage of evolution. Now, all this is conjecture here and truly just my opinion based upon what we've seen so far. But if I were a betting man, I would place all my bottle caps on Machamp being naughty in nature. Now, is it possible for all this to be achieved naturally? You could argue that. Maybe at the end of the day, I'm just being a little naive in my nature. But based on all the evidence that's been laid out in front of me, from everything I've seen about the Dex entries and my own personal experience, I don't see why Machamp wouldn't be naughty in nature. So let's break down my reasoning here. Machamp starts off its early life never being satisfied after a long day of training. I know, I've said that plenty of times previously. Machamp honestly reached its genetic potential when it got to being a Machoke. Its inability to never be satisfied with its training, it taking on menial tasks and laborious jobs just to make ends meet for its, bodybuilding journey. At the end of the day, I think this is just a sad tale of a Pokemon that was never truly satisfied with what it had and always wanted more. It was always searching for that next avenue to get to the next level. And let's also think about it this way. For Machoke to even evolve into a Machamp, it has to be traded away. Could this potentially be the personification of giving that all away just to achieve fitness, bodybuilding, and martial art greatness? Did it trade away all of its core values just to achieve the physique that it always wanted? The physique it dreamed of having since it was a young Machamp. Now, taking a look at all public statements, Machamp has never confirmed nor denied its natty status. But based on this Pokemon trainer's keen eye, I would venture out to say that Machamp is indeed naughty in nature. I also want to say, guys, these are all just my opinions based on some research that I did. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I glossed something over. You let me know in those comment section down below. What Pokemon do you want to see next on this series of Naughty in Nature? All that being said, I really hope you guys did enjoy the video. I hope to catch you in the next one. And yeah, I'm going to get up out of here. Stay happy, healthy, and hydrated, everybody. Later.